Hello and happy Thursday, everybody. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late jumping on Restream. I use Restream and they keep kind of changing things and tweaking things. So I keep having every time I log on to come on, there's something new. And I'm like, oh, okay, what are we doing here? What's this? So, yeah, I think I just need to be popping on 5 minutes earlier just to see what's going to be new, what changes. And I'm going to have to figure this all out later. So, today I'd like to talk about words and how words matter. And it's really, really important to choose our words properly and make those good choices. If you've watched any of my stuff before, I always talk about our little toddler brain. Our subconscious mind does not understand a joke. It doesn't understand sarcasm. It hears the literal words. Sorry, my cat's being a little psycho. It hears the literal words and it believes those words. So if you're just like, I used to be a super sarcastic person. Every once in a while, I still like to be sarcastic and get a little cheeky and just, it's fun, right? But it's good to kind of remember to correct yourself, especially if you're talking about yourself or to yourself. Um, it's one of those, like, for example, if you're just having fun with someone or you're joking around and all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, like, because I'm so stupid or whatever. Sorry, I do the funny accent. Yeah, if it offends you, I'm sorry. It's just I've done it like my whole life. I don't know where I got it from, but it's something I do. I must have got it from a movie somewhere. Anyway, if you're just like, oh my god, I'm so stupid, ha ha ha, whatever. um your subconscious doesn't know it's a joke. It doesn't understand that. It literally hears, I'm so stupid, and it actually takes it in. So you don't know, but you're actually belittling yourself and degrading yourself just by making this casual joke. So it really is important to really watch what you're saying and how you say it. And as a person, like I said, I used to be so sarcastic and always making these jokes and ha ha ha, whatever. Um, it can be a tough habit to break, but just to really be aware, catch yourself. If you catch yourself saying these negative things about yourself, again, doesn't matter if you're joking or not. You can make your joke to people. You're like, oh crap, that was about me. I'm not actually stupid. And then even if you don't, say it to the group of people, say it out loud necessarily, you can kind of say it to yourself, just kidding. Like, I'm super smart. I am so intelligent. I am a very smart person. Just to correct yourself, just to make sure that you, little you, toddler you, subconscious you, whatever you want to call it, understands, like, no, 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 we are smart. We are not actually stupid. We don't want to give ourselves that impression, right? The other thing I really want to touch on with these words matter is how it really affects us and makes us feel. um, I always use cookies. I don't know. I think it's just the easiest thing. We just had, for all my Canadian friends out there, or we just had Thanksgiving in Canada. If you don't know this, last weekend was Thanksgiving in Canada, so I'll use pumpkin pie because for me in my circle, I'm from Alberta. I don't know about the rest of Canada, but pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving is just about mandatory. So I'll use the pumpkin pie. So if you're like me, you eat way too much pie, you eat way too much at Thanksgiving. This is kind of the point of, I think, long weekends, turkey dinners is, yeah, it's about, being grateful for this bountiful in Canada, being grateful for the bountiful harvest and celebrating all the wonderful things and just being grateful um, that life is going well. So it's about, kind of indulging, being grateful, and definitely a little bit of the overeating, at least in my house. And so we always have the pie, and it's one of those things where instead of saying, like, maybe it's the next day, 2 days later, you've already had a piece of pie, you really want another one, and you're like, I don't want to have that pie. Like, I really shouldn't have it. Like, I am not exercising enough for this. I need to not have the pie. So and you practice this, like try saying it yourself. If you think and you imagine there's pie over there and you're like, oh, I can't have that pie, you feel something. There's a little like twang. You feel like you're being denied, deprived. It's a negative little twang we get. I can't have that. It doesn't leave us feeling good or nice or pleasant in any way. This is not a positive word. It's just, I know it has appropriate uses in other places, like literally, like, no, you literally cannot fly. Do not jump off buildings. Like, like it has appropriate uses. You actually literally cannot do something. But when we're talking about choices we're making, and especially when it comes to us, especially when it comes, I'm going to say, like even to the kids, friends, family, when you're speaking to other people, you can't have that. Um, just to really be aware, because when we say it, it's very negative. It's kind of like, even when I'm like, oh, I can't have that, my physical body literally kind of shrinks away, like, oh, like I'm being scolded. Again, try it for yourself. Like, I don't put on this act. It's literally what my body's doing. You can't have that. So it's this negative thing. Whereas if I'm like, I choose not to have that, you can see naturally, again, it just happens reflexive. I choose. Like, you feel very empowered. You're like, yeah, that's right. I'm not eating that pie. I'm making a better choice today. Like, you feel empowered. This is a great positive thing. And it's funny because at the end of the day, it's still the same thing. You're still not having the pie. You have the exact same outcome, but it's how we got there, what we told ourselves in the moment to not eat that pie. One of them is, disheartening, it's negative, it does not leave us feeling great. The other one's like, yeah, I'm freaking awesome. I'm choosing not to have that pie. We feel amazing, right? So this is kind of the one of the great examples I love about words really truly matter. They make such a big difference. And you really want to think about how many times throughout the day you might say a negative word when you could use a positive, like can't versus choose. And all of those little tiny negative can't, negative this, and they're really kind of beating you down throughout the day, because it all takes that little toll on us, right? It's all a negative flick at us, right? Whereas if we use the more empowering words, now we're feeling great throughout the day. We just keep empowering ourselves over and over. And we're just like, yeah, I can do anything. Like, I hope you see where I'm going with this, right? It doesn't seem like a lot in a singular moment, but if we're making poor negative word choices throughout the day, it really adds up and affects our emotional state. And I really do feel, I've never tested the theory, but I really do think that, when sometimes people are like, oh, how are you doing today? And you're just, for no reason whatsoever, you're like, I don't know. I'm okay. And you don't know why you're not feeling good. You can't explain it. I feel like it's all of these little negative flicks that have added up throughout the day, right? I really truly believe this is a thing. So again, like really, really start being aware, start being conscious, start really thinking about, even in the past, like, what did I just say to that person? What have I said in the last hour, 2 hours? What words do I use regularly? And really start paying attention to that and start correcting it. I really think it's going to make a huge, huge difference. It's like, what is that saying? It's the little things that count, or whatever, right? And I really think this is a big one. It really adds up at the end of each day. And I feel, even when talking to, whether it's friends, family, coworkers, I really feel like this can make a big difference in how people view us. Like, even coming online, when I do my lives, and I'm not saying I'm the world's best word chooser, picker person. I'm going to have to pay more attention, but think of how better I'm going to come across, and how much more likely I'm going to make the impacts, and people are going to want to hear me, see me, listen to me, if I'm leaving them with great, positive, empowering words, and I'm always making them feel better, instead of being like, hey, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, and I'm just, flicking them negatively. People don't want to hear that. People don't want to see that. So even if we can make those better choices when we're in conversation with other people, we're going to be that positive person other people look forward to seeing, look forward to talking to, enjoy having around, right? And it's just gonna, I don't know about you, like I was gonna say, boost our image. I don't mean that in a egotistical way. I just mean, who doesn't want to have friends that appreciate having them around? I know one of the best things I've heard is just, people saying, "Oh, you're always so positive. I love how you always see the bright side." Like, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Yes, I enjoy bringing this to other people. I enjoy doing it for myself because I like to be happy. Who doesn't like to be happy? Seriously, guys. I mean, hey, do you like being happy? No, no, I'd rather be sour all day long. Like, I love being happy, therefore, I love always seeing the positive, and I love bringing that light to other people. And just seeing their, even like I use my mom as a good example because she's quite a realistic person. Love you, mom, but you are negative. I know this is not news to her. I joke with her all the time with her realistic viewpoints. They're negative. And I love pointing out the positives for her because she'll say something and I'll be like, oh, hey, well, that's good. Like, at least this happened or this didn't happen. I'm like, well, it's great that that happened. And she'll be like, yeah, yeah, I guess you're right. And it boosts her mood, right? So there's so many different ways our word choices affect ourselves, other people, just the impact we have on everything, right? And I love that. I just think, can you imagine if literally every person in society was 5% happier every single day? And then our 5% of happiness affected other people, increasing their happiness. And we just like, I know it sounds cheesy, but we literally spread the joy. Like, can you imagine how much better your workplace would be? Home life, neighbors, whatever it might be. Like, if people actually walked around smiling and nodding at people again and just being happy with life. Yeah, I don't know about you. I think that would be amazing. That's kind of my goal. The happier I am, the happier I can make other people, and we just keep spreading the happiness. Like, you can laugh at me, you can call me cheesy. I'm cool with that. That is definitely one of my goals in life for sure. So really, yeah, really pick those words, choose those words. They really, really do matter quite a bit, and especially how people will view you as the negative person, as the positive person. It really does make a big difference. Now, I will challenge you that when you, in the beginning, I think this is a great exercise. So I will challenge you, if you'd like to make better word choices, when you catch yourself, write it down. And if it's like a word like can't or hope, things that you're not feeling great after you said it, write it down. And then you can even check off or tick off how many times you catch yourself using that word when there was a better option available that would leave you feeling positive and feeling good. So I would challenge you to do that. And then you can really become aware of how negative you are, how many times you say these words, whatever it might be. And then when you start making those better choices, because the more aware we are, the more we can catch ourselves before we do it and make those better choices. Now, I say hope also. This is another big one, because this is also, is life happening to you, or are you taking control, and are you in control of your life? Taking responsibility for yourself. Do you make your own choices? This is a big one. And I love this one because, sorry guys, I think I'm allergic to my cat actually, but that's here nor there. Again, love my mom. I do believe it might be that generation. She says hope all the time. I hope this, I hope that. Like, oh, I hope I can make it to the store today. Why wouldn't you? And I'll joke around and I'll be dramatic to kind of sell my point to her. But I'm like, why wouldn't you? Is your car going to blow up? Do you plan on dying before then? Like, why wouldn't you be able to make it to the store? Oh, I don't know. And I'm like, that's not a good use of the word hope. We don't hope we can make it to the store. We're just going to go to the store, or I'm planning to go to the store. I'm going to go to the store. We don't hope we can make it to the store. Why would we not make it to the store? Right? Or Appropriate uses for hope. I hope it doesn't rain today. I want to clean up the yard. I hope that hurricane misses us. I hope things we cannot control, we can hope for, right? But if there are things we can control, um, then we don't hope, because hope is saying, I have no choices over this. I have no control over this. This is just happening to me, right? And that is not being responsible for yourself. That's not being in control of yourself. Like, there's that thing. The only thing we can truly control is our own actions, and 100%. And that's what we want to be in control of. And it goes back, if you've seen that video, reacting versus responding. We are in control of what this whole BS. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it, guys. This, like, oh, well, no, you're not 2 years old. You have control over your body. Like, did they come up and literally make you do something, or puppeteer your mouth and make you say something? Like, no, stop. Nobody makes you do anything. You are in control. That is such a weak excuse. I don't even want to hear it anymore. And if this offends you, then I'm sorry, but you need to take a look in the mirror. If you get offended by uh, the fact that I'm calling BS on your, oh, but someone else made me do something, that's a you problem, and that's because you currently play the victim, not taking control of your actions. And I'm calling you out, and you need to think on this, because nobody makes us do anything, right? And even I'm gonna get a little controversial and say, the past couple of years there was big controversy over, I was made to do this thing. I was gonna get fired if I didn't do this thing. I had no choice. No, you did have a choice, not a good one, but you still chose to do what you had to do to keep that job. You chose to stay in that job. You made that choice to do that thing, period. Now, was it a crappy choice? Was it a choice you shouldn't have had to made? All these other questions can come up. Yes. But at the end of the day, nobody held you down and physically forced you to do anything, right? It's the story we put, but I had to. And maybe in your mind, for your life, for your situation, you did have to, but you still made that choice. Only in the regards that, other people, could you have gotten another job? Could you have gone somewhere else? Could you, other options? But it's still, I know that's a drastic comparison, a drastic, example, but that was the number one. I had no choice, but we always have a choice. Same thing, like, I watch these, I'm still watching Dynasty. Oh my goodness, it's so dramatic. Holy. But they say this a lot. I have no choice. No, you literally had a choice to not blackmail someone. You just told yourself you didn't because that's the road you wanted to take. There's always a choice. If it's an action you're doing, something you're saying, an emotional response you're throwing out there, you have a choice. And this is the biggest difference. Are you going to be a victim and just let everything happen to you? Right? Which is, I mean, that's fair. A lot of us have been raised. I know I was raised in the 80s, guys. And as a society as a whole, we were raised to be victims. And especially right now, how many times do people say, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Well, I'm going to also call BS on that. I'm going to say 80% of the time it was your fault because you made a choice, right? This whole, we can never expect to get ahead, grow as people, really advance ourselves. Like, you want to make change in your life. You want to get rid of stress. You want to get rid of anxiety. You want to get work-life balance. You want to make more money, yada, 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 yada. Whatever it might be, you need to take control of your life, period. And that's the good and the bad. That's the beauty of it, guys. Because the other thing that really drives me nuts is you can't play the victim for all the bad things that have happened in your life. It happened to me, not for me. And then claim responsibility for all the good things. Life is either happening to you or you're taking the reins and you're making your choices. So you can't be like, oh, all the bad stuff just happened to me, but all the good stuff, no, I totally am responsible for that. You don't get your cake and eat it too. You're going to take responsibility for the good and the bad, or you're going to you're going to ride in the back seat and woe is me and complain about things forever. Like, you can't have it both ways, guys. But the beauty of it is when you do take responsibility and you choose to have the reins, it's also learning that who cares what the bad happened? Who cares? Learning choices, things that happen to us. What did we take from it? What did we learn? And how are we going to do better? We don't sit and dwell. If we're not being a victim, we're not whining about the mistakes we made. Who cares? They're mistakes. We make mistakes so we can learn. That's as simple as that is. So when you take responsibility, and especially if you're someone who doesn't currently really take responsibility for your actions, just know that when you do, the bad things don't really matter, because the only thing that the bad things, that the mistakes we made, the failures, whatever you think is bad, they're just lessons in life to do better next time. That's as simple as it is. So we're not dwelling on them. We don't even think about them. The only reason we care about mistakes and failures, or whatever you want to call them, is just, what lesson do we need to learn from that? And then how are we going to do better next time? That's as simple as that is. And then boom, we carry on. Yeah. And then the beauty of this is when you have responsibility, again, it's like making word choices. We're choosing our response. We're taking responsibility for the words we use. And the best thing is we own it then. So when people say things like, oh, you know what? Like, I always love talking to you. You always say such awesome things. I always feel good when I'm talking to you. You could be like, yep, I choose those words. I do them on purpose. That is all me. And you can own that. Right? You can own all the good things that are happening. It is awesome. I got a little bit off on a tangent, guys, but that is obviously a bit of a sore spot for me. It's not my fault. Woe is me, blah, blah, blah. You can't be sabotaging yourself. Okay, I'm just going to say it. You can't eat 5 Dairy Queen ice cream cakes and then complain you gain weight, period. You can't eat fast food all day long and complain that you gain weight. No, stop eating all the fast food. That's like, right? You can't make poor choices and then complain and be a victim about it. I can't abide by that. If you're going to complain about something, okay, what I like tell, what I say when this comes up is, I have no issues with people being bigger or making their food choices or whatever. You want to eat McDonald's 5 times a week, you do you. That's awesome. But then you can't complain about the outcomes of eating McDonald's 5 days a week, whether it's poor digestion, maybe you do gain weight from it, maybe you're, a little malnourished because I don't actually believe it's food, whatever that might be. But if you're content with your outcome of your action, then yeah, you do you rock on. Like, everyone is free to live their life and make their choices. You just have to own it. That is all. Yeah, I did that. I know I shouldn't have. I'm okay with because I did. Whatever it is, just own it. Right? I know one of my Facebook friends, they have a Facebook group and it's called Be True to You. And I love that name, because I do believe in that. Be true to yourself. Own what you do, own what you say, and just rock it, right? So make your choices, own it. If you need to apologize, if you apologize and you carry on. Oh my God. Okay, I can go off on a tangent on this. Maybe I'll do that next week. I don't want to sit here forever going off on my tangents, but the moral of the story is, when you take responsibility, like, it's okay to make mistakes. And if people are going to judge you or harp on you or give you flack for it, that is a them problem, because you just know that you are doing something to better yourself, and everyone else can like poo-poo off, like, right? Because you are doing the best for you. And that should always be what we strive to do, the best we can. Whether it's the best for other people, our family, ourselves, we should always strive for our best. And if you're doing the best you can for you and someone else doesn't like it, that's great. It's not their life. They can carry on with their life, right? So I hope this is resonating. I hope it makes sense. Again, politely, if I trigger you at all, that is a sign to do some self-reflection. Why did I trigger you? What was it said? What does that say about you? Is there something you need to think about in your life and adjust going forward? Right? But getting back to the topic at hand, guys, Words matter. Really try making those better choices. Like I said, write them down. When you catch yourself, write it down. And that's the big thing, because it does take a while to change habits, implement things. So when you catch yourself making that poor, oh, I can't. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, blah blah blah. Whatever it might be, you just self-correct. Even if you say it in your head, I'm super smart, blah blah blah. I'm choosing to not have that. Just always, even if you say it inside your head, if you're in a group of people, you made the sarcastic joke or whatever, and you don't want to sound weird, correcting yourself. Oh, I mean, blah 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 blah. Say it in your head, but just remember to correct it. And then celebrate. Like everything else, every time you do something successfully, you remember to do one of your new habits. You remember to do anything that is the positive change you're implementing. Celebrate it. So you just like smile to yourself, do a little inner happy dance, like, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. I just remembered that. Whatever you need to do to celebrate it, because again, toddler brain does not recognize between a small and a big win. So always celebrate the wins, because it just really enforces for us to do more of that, and it makes our subconscious want to do more of that. So it's so important to always celebrate the small wins. So, all right, guys. You know what? I wonder where that. I'm going to check out this chat option in this restream and see if I can get chats linked up to this somehow. If anyone knows how to do that, maybe send me a message. And otherwise, I'm going to Google this, because I feel like I need to be able to see chats when they're coming on. All right, guys. As always, have a very wonderful Thursday, which is almost Friday. So I'm going to say have a great weekend, because it's pretty much here. And stay positive and always be grateful, and have a wonderful